From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening, Fairbanks, and thanks for joining us on this Monday. Our top story this evening. Business traffic in Northeast Fairbanks has been crammed during rush hour, but starting today, driving between businesses will be more safe and easy.
That's right. This morning, Fairbanks Public Works put finishing touches on the $5.2 million upgrade, which includes 2 new roundabouts, a new traffic light, and a new railroad crossing. The railroad crossing connects people from Sam's Club to the shopping district near Johansson Expressway. Mayor Jerry Cleworth says the entry into the shopping district has been challenging for years, and these improvements were carefully planned.
When we looked at this years ago on the roundabouts, I was a bit hesitant because I've seen them not work in the past. Where they work very well is when you have a large footprint. You can make them large and comfortable so people do not feel crowded inside the circles themselves. I haven't been over there. I'm heading over there today to give it a go. I hear it's going actually really well. One of the neat features that we have with the roundabout on the Bentley Trust Road is you can have a bypass lane. If you're going straight, you don't even have to go through the roundabout.
Members of the Lowell Group, who have been pushing to get liquefied natural gas to the interior, met with a potential distributor. Bob Shefchick, head of the Interior Gas Utility, met to discuss his company's intentions compared to their competitors, Fairbanks Natural Gas. The group questioned IGU's lawsuit against FNG and the spending of nearly $300,000 in the fight. Shefchick also further discussed the duty the LNG providers would have as a public monopoly.
And along with the public utility, yes, means you've been given a public monopoly. Yes. And you have a responsibility with that public monopoly to serve non-discriminately, to reach service out into areas that may not be as economically profitable as some other areas, as long as you overall have an opportunity to make money.
During a press conference at the Doi Unlimited building this afternoon, candidate for Governor Bill Walker announced his running mate and candidate for Lieutenant Governor Craig L. Fleener of Fort Yukon, Alaska. Fleener is a lifelong Alaskan, military veteran, and former Deputy Commissioner of the Alaska Department of Fish and Game. He is Gwich'in-Athabascan and is a descendant of the Doi Unlimited region. Bill Walker stated Craig Fleener brings to the Alaska ticket a depth and wealth of experience in fish and game management, military and veterans affairs, circum-Arctic policy experience, and his proud Alaska Native heritage. The two are really excited to work together in this election.
We're a couple of natural resource guys. Mine's sort of in the ground, in the rocks, oil and gas, and his are in the rivers and the streams and the mountains. And so we're a good fit.
Our ideas meshed so well that I don't think my ideas have meshed that well with anybody in a long time, and I really felt like I was talking to an old friend about issues that were important to me. And because of that, I think we started looking at each other with the potential of maybe running together.
Yesterday morning, thousands of Golden Valley Electric Company customers were without power. According to GVEA spokeswoman Cassandra Cerny, 16,500 members were affected, which is half of GVEA's nearly 34,500 customers. The outage happened at 9:30 a.m. between the areas of Delta to Esther. Power was restored to the homes at 10 a.m. The reason was said to be a fault on the Anchorage-Fairbanks intertie in the Wasilla area. GVEA is still investigating the specifics as to what the fault could be.
There were other technical difficulties besides electricity. If you tried to call the governor's office this morning, you may have had trouble getting through. State offices across Alaska were affected by a telephone outage that occurred during an attempted upgrade over the weekend. The outages were connected with a phone upgrade being conducted by Worldwide Technology, a subcontractor hired by a communications provider and state phone service contract holder, GCI. Less than 10% of the phones involved in the upgrade were affected by the problem. Approximately 1,100 of the 16,000 phones that were transferred into the new system were impacted, that according to state officials.
Transfer stations around the Fairbanks North Star Borough will be seeing some improvements. Now, there are 14 of the disposal drop-off points, and the Borough Assembly appropriated $1 million for the upgrades to them. The work on the project is expected to start sometime next year. Those stations with the heaviest use will be worked on first.
The government shutdown has affected thousands of Americans across the country. For the second time, the federal government has barricaded the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C., preventing veterans of all ages to pay their respects. Today, Republican politicians joined demonstrators at the memorial site to protest the stoppage. Another politician who took issue with the closure was Governor Sean Parnell, calling the barricade of the memorial, quote, beyond shameful, a true disgrace by the federal government's executive branch.
Daryl, you know, this warm weather is amazing.
I haven't seen anything like it, and I've lived here most of my life. So.
We're getting such a great fall.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll see if it continues. Mike joins us now with a look at weather. Mike.
Hey, you guys are right. It's definitely unusual. We're looking at the warm temperatures to continue through the rest of the week. Could you see 50-degree temperatures Wednesday and Thursday? That's what's in the forecast. Right now, taking a look at our latest radar, you can see the flow is coming out of the southwest, which is usually a good direction for the warm temperatures. And we have a little shower activity moving through the Fairbanks area. That's out of the picture and not too much in store right now. We are expecting more to develop tomorrow afternoon. Like I said, warm temperatures on the horizon. In the lower 48, lots of rain falling in Texas, something they didn't think they'd get. They're getting a lot of it and a lot of flooding going on. We'll tell you about all the weather later on. Daryl, Stephanie?
Okay, thank you, Mike. When we come back, the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District will have a report on this year's enrollment.
Also, a rabies clinic was held this weekend in Fairbanks. We will have more on that. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Fairbanks Evening News. As much of the nation focuses its attention on the government shutdown and debt ceiling crisis, both of Alaska's U.S. senators say the nation can secure its economic future by paying more attention to the Senator Lisa Murkowski said the reality is the United States federal government and Alaska's Arctic stakeholders need each other in order for any Arctic policy to be successful. Now, Murkowski, along with Senator Mark Begich, addressed the inaugural Arctic Circle Assembly via video this weekend. The forum, held in Iceland, includes 900 representatives from 40 different countries, including both Arctic and non-Arctic nations. Topics range from security, tourism, economic, and research opportunities within the Arctic.
Residents of Galena have seen progress since spring flooding devastated their community in May. However, some are still struggling with different assistance programs. More than 50 homes have already been rebuilt or repaired, while many others remain damaged. The community of 500 that is located 270 miles west of Fairbanks has reported the state's recovery efforts have helped, but some have fallen through the cracks. Many Galena residents still wait on insurance claims and government agencies to assist in rebuilding their lives. Those with the state's recovery efforts say they are doing the best that they can, and although some have indeed experienced problems, others have had success.
Tomorrow night, the Fairbanks School District will have a report on this year's enrollment. The board meets at 7 p.m. in the school district's boardroom on 5th Avenue. The board will receive information on the total number of students in the district and class sizes at individual schools. The enrollment numbers dictate how much money the district will receive from the state based on a much money per student formula.
The Fairbanks North Star Borough Animal Control Office conducted its annual rabies clinic Sunday at the Big Dipper parking lot. Over 400 people registered to have their animals vaccinated. Last spring, the Fairbanks Animal Shelter teamed up with the Alaska Department of Public Health to bring low-cost rabies vaccinations to interior residents. Now, that was due to cases of rabies being found in wolves near the Chandelar Lake area north of Fairbanks. Organizers say mushers and those with multiple animals often take advantage of the one-stop convenience of the borough's rabies clinics.
Which turned out real well. We had a big response to that. That was in response to the kind of the rabies scare that we had earlier this spring.
Right.
You know, there are cases of rabies, usually not in the interior, but people travel outside of the interior into the mountains, into the Brooks Range or beyond to the coastal areas, and there always is a chance that they can bring those things back.
The state ferry system has ended a program which allowed uniformed and armed officers to ride for free. The Alaska Marine Highway System stopped offering free rides September 30th. Previously, Alaska State Troopers and U.S. Forest Service officers could ride the ferries for free as long as they wore their uniforms during the voyage. The intent was that the presence of an officer on board could provide a restraining influence on unruly passengers. A Transportation Department spokesman says the ferry system has been under pressure from state lawmakers and some members of the general public to end free ridership programs. Plus, there could be liability issues for the state.
So we're switching it up a little bit here. Joe's to my left, bringing up the sports.
Yeah.
Had a busy weekend, huh?
Yeah, we have a weekend recap that's just full of some great interior sports action. We got high school football playoffs, college volleyball, ice dog highlights. But first, out of the break, just how close did the Nanas get to winning the Kendall Hockey Classic? Very close.
This close?
like almost smaller than that.
That's close.
Find out after the break. Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here in the Sports Beat for you this evening with your weekend recap. The Alaska Nanniks were this close to winning the Kendall Hockey Classic over the weekend. Despite losing 4-1 to Quinnipiac on Saturday, Alaska needed Air Force to beat UAA to win the Classic based on point differential. UAA scored the game winner against Air Force with just 3.4 seconds left in the game. In Saturday's game against the Bobcats, Quinnipiac bounced back from their UAA loss, scoring on 3 power plays and scoring in each period to defeat the Nanniks. Nolan Heisman scored the lone goal for UAF, and that was on a power play. Now the Nanniks will be home this weekend hosting the Bryce Alaska Gold Rush. The first game is Friday night against Denver. Staying with UAF sports, the volleyball team couldn't get a win over their rivals on Saturday night. The Red Hot Seawolves came into the Paddy Center, and despite 2 competitive sets the Nanniks had, the Seawolves get their 7th straight win in a row and remain undefeated in conference play with the 25-16, 25-17, 25-10 sweep of the Nanniks. UAA had 3 players hitting over 61% and set a new GNAT conference record, hitting 52% as a team in a single game. West Valley product Julia Mackey led UAA with 12 kills. Sam Martoon had a game-high 13 kills for Alaska. Next for UAF is a pair of road matches at number 7 Western Washington and Simon Fraser. The Cooley Region Chill were anything but in this week's 3-game series with the Ice Dogs. Cooley won the deciding game in the series 2-1 on Saturday night and took the first series between these programs 2-1. After a scoreless first period, both teams traded goals in the second. Lonnie Clary, he got the Ice Dogs on the board about halfway through the second period. The Chills' Griff Jazinka tied it though with less than a minute remaining in the second period. It was tight in the final period, but Big Mac Jansen scored the game winner with 1:35 left in the game. Adam Carlson made 24 saves on 25 shots, while Patrick Munson made 18 saves on 20 shots, and the Ice Dogs are off next week. And there were 2 high school football games in the interior on Saturday. In the late game, North Pole took Patriot Pride Field to take on the Ketchikan Kings. After a sloppy start, the Patriots exploded for 28 points in 6 minutes and 30 seconds of the first quarter. Garrett Summer hooked up with Lance Wright for 3 touchdowns in about a 2-minute span. The Patriots led 48-0 at halftime. The first meeting between these two, it was 61-6, a win for North Pole. This one was a little bit similar, 55-6. Now the Patriots face a real test. They will play the undefeated medium school state champion, defending champs, the Stars of Soldotna. Soha hasn't lost a game all year. The teams will lock horns this Saturday in the medium school semifinals this Saturday at 4 p.m. on Diamond Alumni Football Field. And with just 13 players, the Monroe Rams made history with their 40-0 victory over Barrow on Saturday. The Rams hosted their first playoff game in the small school state semifinal and make their first appearance in the state title game. The Rams led 27-0 at halftime, getting out to a hot start as Tyler Wells hit Alex Callahan for the 54-yard score. Then Wells called his own number with a rushing touchdown here. They were without Scooter Bynum, who didn't play for personal reasons, but senior Dylan Gavora broke one to the house for a 33-yard score as well. The Rams got a huge win for their program, but Nikiski awaits a rematch in the state title game this Saturday at noon in Anchorage Football Stadium.
It's another milestone for us. We've never been to the big show, and that's where we're heading. We're heading against a very tough team, a very physical team, and we feel like we're pretty physical. We're hoping it's a good matchup.
It was great. Everybody played perfect, no mistakes. Our couple penalties at the beginning, we took care of them. We really played as a team. Coach gets credit for this game. Coach staff did a great job getting this team prepared. No other coach could do it like he did.
It feels great, especially doing it on my senior year. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to the team and all the other seniors too.
And there was a lot of sports this weekend, so it was tough to come up with the high five, but you have the task of telling me which one is the top play. And coming in at number 5, Dan Volsky with a nice big hit on the Patriots win. At number 4, Lonnie Clary, he wins the battle on the boards and finds David Clapton for the go-ahead score on Friday night's win against the Chill. At number 3, how about the UAF rifle team posting a new program record, 4,694 points in their win over Ole Miss on Sunday. At number 2, North Pole's Garrett Summer hit a beautiful 47-yard pass to Lance Wright, one of their 3 touchdown connections in the Patriots blowout playoff win over Ketchikan. And at number 1, it was a fumbleception. Monroe's Connor O'Kelly hits Barrow quarterback Jesse Sanchez, who was in a throwing motion, but the ball lands in Grant Olson's hands, and he takes it 90 yards to the crib in Monroe's first playoff victory in program history. And don't worry if you can't see it, it's right on our KT11 Sports YouTube page, where that's where you can vote and tell me what the play of the week is. It's at KTVF Joe Cook, at me on Twitter. You can also comment on Facebook. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. Tomorrow we'll hear from the record-setting UAF rifle team and the full state tennis results. And Lathrop has a state champion. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again talking about weather. You had rain last night, but today the skies cleared out. It was a pretty nice day, lots of sunshine and temperatures again well above normal, and there's no sign for this ending all the way through into the weekend. That's pretty amazing, like we were saying earlier. Here's our photograph for tonight. This one's sent in by Trevor Gridley. As you can see, it's a magnificent sunset. He got it in his four-wheeler and was able to journey to the top of somewhere. I'm not quite, but sure, but boy, that's a beautiful photograph. Again, if you have a photograph to share with us, by all means, send it to Mike Schultz at KTVF11.com. What's going on out at the airport right now? 43 degrees after a high of 47. The record low is 7 degrees below zero in 1965, 32 for the overnight low last night. Record high 64 in 1969. Sunrise and sunset, about 9 hours and 42 minutes of daylight, a loss of 6.5 minutes from yesterday. As I said earlier, the flow is coming out of the southwest. You can see why. It's a pretty good strong jet stream bringing a lot of moisture across much of the state. And this next batch of moisture will probably moving in here overnight into tomorrow with more showers expected. What's going on across the rest of the state? Well, for the most part, rain is falling around Ketchikan, cloudy skies at Juneau, cloudy skies around Anchorage, showers at Nome, 40 degrees there, and cloudy skies up in the north slope of Barrow, 30 degrees, and 45 at Fort Yukon. Again, way above normal temperatures. Lower 48 weather, things are looking pretty good over the Pacific Northwest. Nice weather in Seattle, 60 degrees there. Lots of rain falling in Minneapolis, but not as much as has been falling across Texas. Much of the area reporting flooding. Austin, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, all reporting a lot of flooding, and you can see why. Look at the moisture moving across. It's all coming across from the southwest, and an area of low pressure actually was a tropical storm once upon a time, just helping to feed that big band. Also severe thunderstorms breaking out across this area of low pressure, all being brought in by the jet streams. You can see once again moving across Canada, bringing the colder air, at least, crashing into the warmer, humid air to the south, and that's setting up all types of scenarios for big-time storms. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow, the northern sections. Snow showers for Barrow, rain showers for Nome, and mixed rain and snow showers at Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, looking at, for the most part, winds developing near Healy, and they could be gusting, starting off 30, 45 miles an hour, gusting to 65 miles an hour by tomorrow night, and a high wind advisory in effect until Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Got to keep that in mind. Over southeast Alaska, looking at showers in Juneau with scattered clouds at Ketchikan. It's not too bad. Over the southwest, it looks like, for the most part, a real mixed bag of rain and wind for Cold Bay. Isolated showers for Kodiak and more rain at Bethel. And over the south central regions in the Anchorage Bowl, more rain expected for Anchorage, Valdez, and Homer. Okay, it's a new week, which means it's time for a new school for our kids' weather. And we will be talking again with the kids this week from Salsha Elementary School. Tonight, a young lady with a very nice poem.
Rain drizzles, sun shines, rainbows are divine. Snow coughs on the ground as white as a kitten's paw. Fall leaves fall like snow coughs. Weather is divine.
And tomorrow night we'll have a young man here talking about the four seasons and showing us a picture that he drew. Here's our forecast for tonight. 32 degrees, cloudy skies with a chance of some mixed rain and snow shower activity. Tomorrow's forecast, continue cloudy with very mild temperatures, 47 once again. And the extended forecast, as you can see here, temperatures 50 degrees on Thursday, warmer for Friday and Saturday, and continuing into Sunday. So overall, warm temperatures will continue. And lots of just really unbelievable weather that's going on right now. In fact, overnight lows also in the mid-30s, and our usual overnight low temperature this time of year, 19 degrees.
I
So
don't
we're
see
16
one
degrees above normal.
speck of snow in that forecast.
You're right. Yeah. Can't snow it, it's that warm.
So here's the question. What do you think will happen around Halloween? Will we be pushing out that far for snow?
Well, Daryl and I tell you, we've been here for so long. It's been really many times. I can't remember when we've not had snow on the ground for Halloween.
Yeah.
So I would say logically it would be Halloween. You know.
Right.
But we can still hope, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
The longer it stays warmer, the less chance we have to worry about burning wood or anything else.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Burning Woodard. All right, that'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Burned.
Did he really say that?
He did. Tonight on NBC Nightly News, urgent warnings of an economic catastrophe unless Washington reaches a deal. Now that's coming up next with Brian Williams.
You can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
And that will do it from all of us here at the News Center, including Stephanie Woodard.
That's right.
That's not being burned. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you back here at 11.